talking all things life, self-improvement and chronic illness. Former ME/CFS sufferer Toby Morrison is here to help you with your own recovery or health transformation journey. This is the CFS Podcast, where CFS stands for Choice, Future and Success.
Good morning, good afternoon and good evening. Toby Morrison here. Today is an interesting one. I wouldn't say interesting, actually, I'd say freaking amazing, because last night I actually had an epiphany, and I hope it's not my jet lag that's making me feel fantastic and high on life, or it's the epiphany that's actually true. But I just flew in from France, and I woke up at 1 a.m. and I thought it was like 6 a.m. and I was like, oh great, I've had a great sleep. I felt great. I only slept 2 hours and I woke up and in the middle of the night and haven't been back to bed since. Anyway, what happened is when I woke up, I just started thinking about things, and as you do, and reading a couple of articles and books and whatnot. And then something just came to me. It was like an epiphany. It was like, Toby, you have nothing to prove. Like, what are you trying to prove? And I realised that proving things to myself was actually causing me the suffering. The thought of having to prove that I had to do something was actually causing me anxiety and stress. And I just feel like there's been a huge burden lifted up off my shoulders, because I don't know for how long, but I feel like I've been conditioned to prove myself forever. And I don't know whether that's from like childhood or, upbringing or social conditioning, or if it's just social media in general, how we all feel we have to prove ourselves to everyone and prove ourselves to ourselves, and if that even makes sense. I didn't pass English, so don't hold a grudge on me if my grammar's not fantastic. What would life be like if you didn't have to prove anymore? Sit there and just think about this question. What would your life be like if you did not have to prove anymore? To yourself, to your loved one, to your clients, to people. It's huge. It's a huge, huge question. Because where I live in Australia, and this is a universal thing, this is not just a country thing, this is a universal thing where we are constantly striving to prove ourselves, to show our worth, to show our beauty, to show our good, to prove that we don't have anything bad. We're even showing that we're trying to show that we have nothing bad. That there's no darkness in our life, even though that is a total lie, because we're neglecting the shadow in us, so to speak, because there's light and dark. Life is a positive and a negative, which makes a neutral. So for every good there's every bad, for every war there's every peace, for every death there's every birth, for every light there's every dark, for white there's black, there's up there's down. So if we're constantly to prove one side of our life all the time, it becomes freaking exhausting. And I bet you're on the other line of this going, nodding your head, just going, shit, I feel the same way. Because, if you didn't have to prove anything to yourself, then you would just be. You would just totally just walk around naked. You wouldn't have any burden on your shoulders. You wouldn't have you just wouldn't have, you'd have nothing to worry about. You don't have to prove anything. I don't know. I'm talking to myself right now, and I don't care if anyone's listening or not, because this feels so real, and it feels just like I don't even have to prove that that's right. That's just true. If you didn't have to prove anything, what would life be like? It would be nothingness. It would just be still. It would be being, not worrying. I don't know. This is big. I feel like this is really, really big. Who would you be if you didn't have to prove anything? What would your life be like if you didn't have to prove anything anymore? Crazy. You'd smell the flowers. You'd walk down the street, not really giving a shit what someone else thought of you or cared of. You wouldn't worry about how you looked because you have nothing to prove. You could wear like hot pink pants. See, the other cool thing is you wouldn't have to wear hot pink pants because you wouldn't have to prove anything. You see, like, we're constantly socially conditioned, to look a certain way, to be a certain way, and it actually causes us more pain than pleasure, even though that we're aiming and striving for pleasure. It's the complete reversal. It's crazy. But personally for my own life, like, I just feel like, whilst what I've done in the past is great, and also in the past some of the stuff that I've done has been terrible. It's been a yin and yang of both. But I look at it and just go, man, like, I was just trying to prove. I've been constantly on this proving journey to myself. Not so much to everyone else, but to myself, to show everyone else that I'm okay and I'm worthy. But it's just caused more pain and suffering than joy, which is just nuts. So you just wouldn't do shit. You just wouldn't do stuff that you don't really feel like you want to do. You usually do things out of proving that you can do it. And don't get me wrong, like, healthy motivation is good sometimes, but motivation doesn't last, and it becomes a draining process of it's an addiction of constantly proving yourself, your worth, just your beauty, whether that's inside, outside, whatever. Who cares? You don't have to prove it anymore if you don't have to prove it. It's just, I don't know. I hope you feel that. Like, I hope you feel what I'm feeling right now, because, this is a huge epiphany, a wake up, if you like. Because if you come from a place of trying to prove, you come from a place of scarcity and fear. But if you come from a place of power and almost just like love, like you don't have to be, you're not in a proving situation. So it just you just are. You just am. I am, you are. You don't have to. You're just staying there as you are. You don't have to prove anything. So if you come from that space, like, how clean is that? Like, that's just like pure energy, calmness, exciteness. Again, like, I didn't pass English, so my grammar's not great. So don't judge me. I've got nothing to prove to you or myself. So it's really interesting. Maybe there's going to be more peace in your life if you don't have to prove anything anymore. And of course, it's going to be a constant learning curve for you to constantly check yourself, check in. Are you trying to prove? And be aware of that. You might be in a social situation where you're constantly trying to prove yourself, and if you catch yourself and you go, why am I doing that? Oh, it's because I'm scared of what people think. And then you can ask, does it really matter what they think? And hold on a second, but whose business is it what they think anyway? Is it my business to be in? No, it's not. It's not your business, so why are you in it? Get out of it, Toby, or whatever your name is, Angela, Stephanie, Tim. Maybe there's 3 of you listening, or more. So just a little thought today, just a little bit of I don't think it's a little bit, I think it's a big thing that I might even write a book on, because I think it's really friggin' cool. Yeah. Anyway, I'm still thinking about it. It's, I've been awake for way too long. I just think this is huge and can really stop a lot of suffering instantly if you just stop the stories and drop the proving. Would love to hear your thoughts on this. I really would. So comment below, send me an email, whether it's Facebook, whatever. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and the more you share, the more you care, and I think it's really cool that we can connect this way and share some pretty amazing things together. Have a good morning, good evening, or good day wherever you are in the world. The sun's coming up here in Melbourne, Australia, on a winter's day, which is pretty nice. Might take my dog Poppy for a walk. Might have to meditate on this actual topic for the next hour because I think it's just blown my mind. And until next time, all the very best. Love and light.